Hey guys, thanks for tuning in and thanks for coming to watch this video. So really quick, this video is probably going to be a 3 or 4 part video. I haven't figured that out yet. I'm having issues with storage capacity on my phone and the GoPro. And also part 2, you'll notice that I lose sound. That's not your TV. Something happened with the recording equipment and I didn't get any sound for that part of the video. I also lost the hurl head at the very end. So I'm really sorry about that. But the majority of that is in there, and I really hope you guys enjoy the video. Thank you again for watching and subscribing, and let's get into this. Hello everyone, I'm Rich Lamont. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. So, as you saw in my last video, I selected the feathers for this fly, and we're just going to jump right into it. So this is the Lars Moeller hook. There's card and info. Beautiful hooks. My first impression, it's really nice, thick, heavy gauge, heavy wire hook. The Japanning coating on it is beautiful. The hook point, absolutely love it. Yeah, it's a beautiful hook. So we're starting with Regarding 150D white. I really would have liked to have been a little bit smaller diameter. I was thinking maybe like a 74, but I don't have that in white, so I'll just go with this. And now I'm just tying in the eye. Things moving on me here. Okay. This is a monofilament silk gut imitation. What I'm going to do here, maybe, I'm going to use a razor blade and I'm going to cut this at a backward angle. Nice shallow angle. And what that does is that allows you to have a nice gradual, gentle taper from the hook shank up to the hook, up to the eye. And we'll just use my thumbnail to get it into place and really mash it down too much, but mashes it down a little bit. I'm trying to get it to sit evenly. Now there will be hackle up here, but it will be silk under the hackle, so I do want it to be somewhat smooth. We can work on that later. As we build the underbody, there's going to be a bit of an underbody here anyway. So as we build that, this will smoothen out a little. So I'm just going to add a little bit of head cement to that to hold that where it is. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but I think that's on there pretty good. I could go and kind of take care of all the boring stuff ahead of time, but I don't want you guys to be here for the whole experience, you know? Alright. Next we are going to have gold tinsel in the tag as the tip and part of the tag. I've got some small, this is Vivis French tinsel. And we're going to tie that in all the way up here, and that'll be kind of a excuse me, kind of a start towards getting that underbody built up and evening out this body with the eye material. Need longer hooks, sometimes you forget. I'm just going to back you guys up a little bit for a moment. And you see I'm holding the tinsel at an angle, and I'm pretty much holding it right up against the other part of the hook down there by the point, and that's just keeping the tinsel aligned underneath the hook. So that way as I wrap it doesn't wind up twisting around the hook or... This camera's close. Sorry I have to back you guys off so much. There we go. It's really trying to get in there so you guys can see the details, but that only leaves me with about 3 to 3.5 inches of room to tie, and for this fly I'm going to need a little bit more room. I really don't think I want to go much farther than that. And I'm going to take this all the way back forward again. We'll try to speed this up. Alright, now I'm going to do the work on a little bit of an underbody and build up some of this here. And with that, I'm using woolly nylon. I've used this before, I've showed you. It comes on a spool like this. You can probably get it at Michael's, Joann Fabrics. I get it off of Amazon. It's like $10 for that spool. And you can see how much is still on this spool. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spools that you can see how packed that is, that I've already done. And one of these spools lasts me about a year. So that gives you an idea of how much you get for $10. Yeah, it works great for building up underbodies. And you can use it for trout flies as well, using it for underbodies for that. It comes in a whole bunch of different colors, so lots of different uses for it. I also use it for veiled salmon eggs when you're doing those with the little puff off the top of the egg. Works great for it. Now this rocking back and forth I'm doing, that's just to kind of help settle the fibers into place a little bit better. Trying to fill in those gaps in the thread underneath that, and kind of flattens this out a bit more. And you can see it's everything's starting to flatten out a little bit nicer now. Not that it wasn't flat before, but the thread I had laid underneath, I was kind of quick with it. And this will just give you a nice smooth underbody to work with. And stuff builds up pretty quick. This does get some line twist in it. Sometimes it's hard to figure it out. For some reason it doesn't seem to be getting the normal line twist that most threads get. And I usually have to spin it counterclockwise to unwind it. This seems to be the opposite almost. It could be how I wound it off of the bigger spool. I just used my screw gun to do it. There we go. Tell you what, these bigger flies doing an underbody can really work on your shoulder. Actually, you know, I probably should have tied it in the back. We are going to correct that mistake right now. Damn. That could have been like a funky mistake. So what can happen there in that at that point is if I take the thread and wrap the thread back over the underbody, this underbody material is kind of soft. So what will happen is that thread will cut into the underbody, and actually you'll see that pattern throughout the underbody, and then that'll show up in the silk when I wrap that on. We don't want to have that happen, so we'll just wrap this backwards, have it throw on another layer, and we'll tie in at the back. Yes, the hook was slightly rotating. I like to keep my vise somewhat loose. I use the rotary option quite a bit and pretty constantly look at the different angles on my flies. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see that from here. If you look there, you should be able to see the thread. It'll kind of cut right into that. You may not, it doesn't cut in deep, but it cuts in enough that that'll show up in the body of the fly. Okay. So for the tip on this and the tag, I'm going to use this. I don't know what these colors are. I got a box of these from a friend of mine, and they didn't come with color names, so I only have what they look like to go off of. But I like this color. This one I think is gonna go well as the tag. I don't know how. Yeah, the lighter one. This video could turn into a two-part video. If it does, I do apologize for the length, but this is one of those flies that it takes. You don't rush these. This is one of the ones that as you go along, things change. You modify things. There's surprises. Sometimes everything goes to plan and there's no surprises, but I'm just getting gloves for the silk. So I'm just using black nitrile gloves. These are like the mechanics gloves. Okay. So when you use these silks, they come in the tubes. Very carefully unwrap them and save the plastic. So when you're done, you can wrap them back up. And you want to protect these silks as much as you possibly can. Now, if this is your first time watching any of my videos, the gloves are to protect the silk. Some people are, they're mechanics or construction workers, or just have rough hands from working around the yard and in the house, or whatever you do with your hands. That roughness can fray the silk. These Japanese silks especially are particularly delicate. So the other thing is that the oils from your fingers will actually soak into the silk, and that can change the color and actually show up. So to prevent that, we put on gloves. Some guys have actual gloves made of silk. I don't have a pair of those. So this is the next best thing. And if you don't have access to these, then the next thing I would suggest is to make sure you wash your hands really, really well with something like a Dawn dish soap or some degreaser. You can make sure that you get the oils off of your hands, or degreasing soap rather, to get the oils off of your hands as much as possible. Make sure you don't have any dirt on your hands. And if you do have rough spots, you can use an emery board for your nails. Use that on your skin, on your fingers. It works quite well. Just make sure that you use it on your fingernails, and try and get your hands as smooth as you possibly can. The emery board is not a cure-all. It does. I don't think it'll get everything and make you baby smoother, but it'll certainly help you. Worst case, everybody's got a pair of nail clippers that's got the little file inside. You can use that too. I've done that before. Oh, and I think I pulled a little too hard there. And I think I lost a few fibers. Yep, I broke a couple. I'm going to keep wrapping and see how that, see if it affects it at all. It doesn't seem to be, but the broken pieces seem to be lost within the under wrap. Now, typical salmon fly style dictates that the butt would be about where the tip of the hook point is, which is a bit behind where I already am, and it would also dictate that there be a much smaller tag. Oh, sorry for whistling. That there would be a much smaller tag, but this is not a typical salmon fly. This is an artistic fly, so pretty much when it comes to artistic flies, other than technique, the rest goes out the window. You know, proportions and everything are what you want it to be. That's what looks good to you. When it comes to an artistic fly where you're just being creative, the hook is your canvas, and just have fun with it. Make it look how you want. It's not for, unless of course you're designing it for somebody, but when it comes to these though, yeah, it's, you don't have to worry about following specific rules or, you know, what the how the old guys did it and how it was tied back then. None of that matters here. Yes, of course, some of that is part of this. I don't think you get to this point without learning some of those parts. But under 3. Okay, right here, I want to point out that I'm being careful to end the tinsel. Gotta get these gloves off though. I'll be putting another set on here momentarily. Oh, my hands are sweating terribly. So I will have to go wash my hands here in just a moment. But what I was saying, the tinsel here, I'm being careful to tie it off on the side. You can also tie it off underneath. But I don't want to tie it off on top because that's where the tail is going to go. And when I put the tail up there, I want my tail to be able to sweep down. The way I've bent the tail for this. See the curvature of that? I want the tail to follow that and kind of curve down over the tag. If I have tinsel in the way and I tie off the tinsel in the top, that's going to kick the tail upward. That's why a lot of times people, you know, if they wrap it this way and they wind up getting tinsel there, or if you have too much thread buildup but not enough on the front side and you try to tie your tail in there. That's how you wind up getting your tail kicked up like that. So I'm trying to avoid that by tying it off on the side here like this. Now, to make sure that stays put, I'm just going to pick this apart. I'm just picking apart the tip to the tinsel. I have a broken thread or strand in my thread. I'm picking apart the end of this tinsel here to make sure that I can get a nice solid wrap onto it and keep it in place. Beautiful. And I'd fought with myself if I was going to do ostrich hurl or not, and I really do like a nice ostrich hurl. If you hear clicking, I apologize for that clicking. That's I have a cannula in for my oxygen machine in my nose, and it dries my throat out a little bit. So strangely, that's my breathing. Trying to select an ostrich roll, and I'm not having good luck with that. Let's see. Okay, let's try this one. Before you wrap the ostrich roll, always make sure you put some wax on there. Ostrich roll has a tendency to slip and kind of not sit right. Everything seems pretty flat where I'm tying in, so I don't anticipate any issues with it, but a little bit of wax goes a long way. So you just put a little on the thread, and then just get, you know, one 1 or 2 good wraps of that. Strip away that little bit of fluff at the back. See, some of that's kind of definitely don't need so much quill on there. Alright, what I'm doing now is there's a little bit of a bump right here from that tail stump. So I was just going to build up a little bit more underbody just to kind of match that, and the thread from the tie off on the butt. It's not terrible, but it's a little noticeable, so I just want to try to smoothen that out a little bit. I think I'm just going to go back in with some underbody material and do it that way. I don't need a whole lot, but you can already see how much thicker it is from where the one thread is to the other. Look right here. That's just the difference from this poly nylon. That's why it's such good stuff to build up underbody, because it builds up so quickly. Thread out of the way. See, moving the thread the way I just did doesn't, other than adding an extra step in there, it doesn't add any extra thread or any extra tie off or anything like that. So doing that to me is no big deal. Better. I don't know if you guys were able to see that right in there. There's still a little bit of a dip right there. That's better. And the silk will do the rest. Alright, well, I'm going to tie in my tinsels for this. Now,